Alright, this is John Black, Super Chemist. We're on a video series called Female Biology. This is part 4C. And then part 4B, the part 4 is called Are Women Leaders or Followers? Okay, and we're on part C of that. But in part B, we started to get into the science of it, you know, the chemistry, biochemistry of women and why they are not good leaders, how their brain is a valued value system, and a man's brain is a goals-oriented system, you know, his brain. And a goals-oriented person is a good leader. A values oriented person is not a good leader. But they're great followers. You know what I mean? And again, let's get back to that one question that I started out in part 4A. If a woman is, you know, when you have a general, he doesn't look for another general. He looks for followers to follow him. A president doesn't look for another president. He looks for voters to vote for him, follow him. That's the definition of a leader. You need followers. The definition of a follower is you're looking for a leader. You gotta have a leader if you're a follower, and you have to have a follower if you're a leader. My thing is these highly masculine women that that lead. They have 500 Fortune companies. Even those, like 99.999% of all women, want a leader when it comes to a boyfriend or a husband. But my question is, if the woman is a leader also, why is she looking for a leader? Doesn't that prove that she's a follower? Because leaders don't look for another leader, okay? Because they already have a leader. Them. They look for a follower. It's like a follower doesn't look for another follower because they already have a follower. Them. They need a leader, you know. So we went into the biochemistry a little bit in the last thing. We're going to start it up again here with testosterone and estrogen. Everyone knows in a man, testosterone is high, estrogen is low, and it's the opposite in women. Estrogen is high, testosterone is low. These chemicals, I mean, and I could show you study after study and a million statistics and facts and data on hundreds of millions. They just have so many hormones that are based on making them emotional. Okay, testosterone makes you more logical, more able to control your emotions. The estrogen does the opposite. It gives you more emotions and less logic. You know what I mean? Less control over your emotions. And like I mentioned in the last couple videos, they're female biology, but it's part 3A and 3B, called Decisions. Why Can't Women Just Say Yes or No? I go into this stuff that I'm going to go into now a lot more in depth on those two videos. That's why I'm going to kind of gloss over it here in this video. But if you want a more in-depth analogy or more depth thing of what I'm saying, go look at those two videos. But I did mention in those videos that, you know, a woman makes more serotonin, a lot more dopamine. Dopamine is these hormones are basically associated with getting high. Okay, if you smoke dope or whatever, you do some kind of drugs, your brain's gonna make more dopamine. That gives you the high feeling. You know what I mean? One of the things that the brain does. You know. But yeah, women just naturally have dopamine levels that are skyrocket above men. Okay, same with serotonin, same with a bunch of billions of other hormones that just make them emotional. Okay, that's a fact. It's not misogyny. Facts are not misogynist. Okay, saying a fish is a fish and fish want to be in the water is not being me saying that the fish does not want to climb up a tree. That's not hating the fish. I'm not misogynist against the fish. But facts are facts. Women are built to be followers, and men are built to be leaders. That's all. That's it. Either, gazelles eat plants and lions eat meat. And no matter how much you want to say that the gazelle should eat meat, they ain't going to eat the meat. And there's so many differences in the frontal hippocampus of the brain. And, to give an example, the limbic system that's in, is part of that. That has to deal with emotions. It makes your emotions big and giant. Okay? So you got hormones, and the brain itself is just built to be emotional in a female's brain. That's just the way it is. And as also I mentioned that females have verbal centers twice the they have one in the left and one in the right hemisphere. These verbal centers. Men only have them in the left side, left hemisphere. And you might say, well, what's that got to do with being a leader? Because it makes the woman want to talk instead of do. You know what I mean? They want to talk. And this is in general, okay? They have twice as many verbal centers in their brain. I don't know what the ratio of the sizes are, but yeah, so this does not make a good leader. Does not talk about stuff; they do stuff. Okay. I mean, they talk about stuff too, but you get my point, okay? So, and this is the main, and those are like, wow, those are overwhelming, these hormones and stuff like that I'm bringing up, okay? And how the brain is wired up differently in a female. But this is a major thing here. Those are major things too, but this is probably the most major, is that you have a band of nerves connecting the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of your brain, right? And you have to think of your two hemispheres as actually two different people, okay? And you have a dominant side and you have a submissive side, all right? And I go in this in depth in the why can't women just say yes or no, decisions video. That when a man has a hierarchy brain. Okay, the dominant side and the submissive side, they talk to each other when they got to make a decision, and then the dominant side walks away and can cut off communication with the submissive side and just make the decision. Okay, but because that band of nerves is so big and giant in a woman, the dominant side in a woman can't shut the submissive side off. The dominant side still makes all the decisions. But imagine you're stuck in a room with someone who keeps screaming something that they want to do opposite to you. You know what I mean? You're trying to make a decision, but you got the other side of the brain screaming, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. It's going to make you hard to make decisions. You see what I'm saying? Because they have an egalitarian brain. Even though they have a dominant side and a submissive side, right? The dominant side barely has dominance over. They're almost equal. They're like this. In a man's brain, the dominance is way up here, and the submissive is down here. So you can easily shut them up when you want to make a decision. In a woman's brain, the dominant side can never shut the other brain up, the other hemisphere. It can never shut them up. They can make a decision, but they can never shut that. That's why they keep going back and forth, because they can't shut the other side up, the other brain. Imagine being a leader where you can't shut the other side of your brain off, and you're always trying to make decisions, trying to whatever, and you got this other person telling you, no. Then, of course, you have, menopause. Which, this is what's funny, is like people think that if you're misogynistic, if you don't want a menopausal, because let's face it, a woman president isn't going to be 20 years old. She's going to be old, right? She's probably going through menopause, okay? This is who you want to be the president? I don't want that to be the president. It's not because I hate women. It's because if men were menopausal, I wouldn't want men I wouldn't want them to be president, man. It has nothing to do with your gender. It has to do with that. But anyways, I can go on seriously for years and years about this. About how they are not leaders by biology, biochemistry, brain chemistry, brain structure. You know what I mean? It's not just the brain structure. it's actual, the functional differences, are there too. It's not just, it's functionally different and structurally different. So it's a double whammy, you know what I mean? And the hormones that are made and produced are made at such different ratios than it would be in a man. These things, these facts. And what's funny is for thousands of years, right? Thousands of years, men and women, not just men, women also, everyone knew all these facts, that women are followers, okay? And if you, and now that we have all these facts, all of a sudden it's misogynist because they want everyone to think men and women are the same. Women can be leaders. Yes, they can. A fish can climb a tree too. The tree is like this, and he flaps around the tree. He can go right up that tree. But is that what you want your fish to do? Do you want your fish to strive to climb a tree? Why would you want that? You're telling the fish that they ain't no good. You ain't good enough unless you act like a monkey and climb the tree. The gazelle, which represents the woman, isn't good enough unless she eats meat like the lion, who represents the male. You know what I mean? You can't judge a fish by how good he climbs a tree. Just like you should. If you're judging women on how if they can get a job and they can go do this man thing and that man thing, then you're the one who's a piece of garbage. You're the one who is saying that women aren't good enough being followers. Like being a follower is a piece of... Everyone is a follower, okay? And a leader in their own way. Even a mother who's submissive and whatever, she's still the leader of her children, right? And the man, if he leads the house, so what? You think he leads all day? You think he don't go to work and follow? Everyone follows and everyone leads. So don't give me this crap like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But you're taking away, you're saying, when you tell a woman that she should go into STEMs, right? Or you tell a woman that she should go get a job instead of getting married and having children, you're saying that a woman is a piece of garbage. You're saying that they ain't good enough being the follower. They ain't good enough raising our children to be good people. That ain't good. That's nothing. You got to have a job, or you ain't. But having a job is being a man. Why are you making them try to be men?
I'm sure by now you've seen women on TikTok going viral stating they feel safer with a bear than a man.
Loved it.
And these women are sending a powerful and meticulously crafted political message that says to the world, we are bad at risk analysis, stop making us do. These women are sending a powerful and meticulously crafted political message that says to the world, we are bad at risk analysis, stop making us do it.
For years, the world has told women, we need more of you to trade crypto, gamble, enroll in actuarial science,
enter STEM fields,
and other risk analysis adjacent fields. And these women revolted by saying, enough is enough. I can't even tell if a human man is more dangerous than a bear. Please stop trying to force me to run a hedge fund. And these women revolted by saying, enough is enough. I can't even tell if a human man is more dangerous than a bear. Please stop trying to force me to run a hedge fund.
I confess, because I'm guilty as anyone. When I saw that men are 91% more likely than females to be invested in the stock market, or that 95% of professional poker players are men, I thought these women are just being lazy. We need a few more articles to force them into these fields.
Ignorant.
Completely ignorant. And I'm ashamed to say that when I first saw the man or bear trend, I took it at face value, and I said, I know that driving a car is dangerous, for example, but I would obviously be safer on the road than in a cage with a mountain lion, even if there are fewer deaths by lions due to frequency of encounters. I'm sure by now you've seen women on TikTok going viral stating they feel safer with a bear than a man.
Loved it.
And these women are sending a powerful and meticulously crafted political message that says to the world, we are bad at risk analysis, stop making us do it.
For years, the world has told women, we need more of you to trade crypto, gamble, enroll in actuarial science,
enter STEM fields,
and other risk analysis adjacent fields. And these women revolted by saying, enough is enough. I can't even tell if a human man is more dangerous than a bear. Please stop trying to force me to run a hedge fund.
And I gotta confess, because I'm guilty as anyone. When I saw that men are 91% more likely than females to be invested in the stock market, or that 95% of professional poker players are men, I thought these women are just being lazy. We need a few more articles to force them into these fields.
Ignorant.
Completely ignorant. And I'm ashamed to say that when I first saw the man or bear trend, I took it at face value, and I said, I know that driving a car is dangerous, for example, but I would obviously be safer on the road than in a cage with a mountain lion, even if there are fewer deaths by lions due to frequency of encounters.
On bill sign 6 figures.
Hey.
I don't need no man trying to go 50-50. I don't need no man trying to go 50-50.